single heat, they're going against one another. So we're going to see rivalry. The best, like that leaderboard is going to change with every single elimination, every battle. They're going against each other.
With the exception, of course, once Mongo Mitro and Benji take that first place spot. I'm just saying, they have been playing insane. That's not to say that anybody else can't potentially take that top spot. It's very possible. I mean, even Skyt, Hunter, and Keysar from Solary and Lestream, this is an excellent trio in itself. Man, just the dominant gameplay. And then it's been insane to watch.
Sundown put it back. It's Europe playing catch up here with our favorite, I guess, team to look out for. We'll see how the performances go here as Hunter kind of sit just outside. You take a look at that map there. Players are setting the approaches, the high grounds are being claimed, and that is how you can start to choke out squads that are rotating late here. They are gonna hopefully, get a little bit of that RNG, right? Get that zone to fall in their favor, because otherwise they have to burn some valuable.
I will say, over 10 seasons of Fortnite has been one of the most consistent high ground advantage spots. Even now, you're looking down at building. You have essentially 3 shots on players that do, for some reason, choose or are forced to rotate through there. This spot is insanely good. You have clear line of sight on so many different locations. Even the high hill to the north, which is higher, high ground, elevation-wise, you still have a clear line of sight on a majority of what's up there. There's only a little nub at the top that can block line of sight of anybody that's moving on the north side of that hill. This trio, Sky, Keysar, Hunter, they're in a great spot going into the next circle.
Absolutely. There's no reason for them to move right now either. As you said, they have a nice line of sight over the field here. And all those tags, those are crucial tags. Remember, Storm Surge can affect anyone here, so you have to be proactive. You can't just sit around and be complacent with your positioning. You have to be actively seeking for damage if you don't want to get taken out by the Storm Surge. But here we have another little engagement about to go down here. It looks like the Vic is currently turning this house inside out. There's a team very close by.
Rotating forward just southeast there, the gas station. Plus, you do have one more player, the gazebo, in the middle of Pleasant Park. Going to rotate up on top, and I think now's the time to try and get a height advantage. You don't want anybody to apply too much pressure. Plus, they are further away from the zone. So the team from TCK, they are in a good spot to just try and stormhold this, if that's what it comes down to. You have 3 potential point pickups here, eliminations. Actually, pressure going in here. Muser taking the high ground on top of this trio. Used that shockwave and got up on top. I would expect pressure from the other 2 here momentarily. We will see. But there is another trio. Look, on the minimap, you have another team coming in from behind. So now both the trios that we just saw on the screen right now that are fighting it out here at this northeast building in Portland, they're about to get stormheld by another team down there. They're moving in as well. There's going to be 3 teams fighting basically in one building in a second here, and Gems is eliminated. You have a couple pickups there. The Vic, 3 eliminations now, a ton of materials, but you do have literally another team on top of them right now.
And that's what happens when Storm Surge comes into effect. People do desperate things. So this team was totally fine parked up here, but now they have to force the push here. They have to defend themselves, and lucky for them, they get the tags, they get the trades, and their entire trio is still standing. This is a 3-way battle going on here, all of which is probably forced out because of Storm Surge now.
I guarantee you there's...
Roback did a good job here. He's going to get shot in the back. He's the most hurt. He's actually going to shockwave trying to find himself a better position here, Dr. Lugo. And he does. He breaks away. He's got a little bit of time for himself now.
All there, trying to rotate away. They're a little split. This one, top one, he's going to have to rotate back. Ginger 7 Josh and Tom Wamo all stacked up next to each other right there in front of the garage of that building. Well, the campfire is going to be a fluke for them. They do spot it and realize they might be low HP. Might be the time to push. They have a way to pressure. 5 shockwaves in the inventory. Robots, rotation here in a minute is not going to be a problem. Team shockwave could come in clutch. Might be time for it. You see him line it up. In fact, he might even be marking this to say, hey, get ready to go. Indeed, that's what he was doing. There we go. Rotation all the way south. Look at that. Solid push ahead of the team that did apply pressure moments ago. They have a circle advantage now, and now they are sitting at the forefront, able to stormhold.
And
a
what
big move there.
Reckless push. They had the zone right here. They go outside the storm, the safety zone, just to try and force the fight and then kill.
You got to think, the storm, the potential chance of taking damage from the storm, the storm surge might have been the reason to push. Not 100% sure. We didn't have the number on the screen at that moment, but you have to think, throwing away a positional advantage the last second there, especially because you know the storm timer. The circle timer is on your screen, so they know that at some point, if they're going to push, they can make it quick, or they just need to wait. Chose to move out there, and now they're on the outside. Meanwhile, 3 HP. The other two from the trio. And so Amplify still up. This is the winners from game 1, by the way.
Oh, they are.
25 points, a big lead going into game 2.
This is what we like to call shambles loot right here, man. Mira with no heals, 3 HP in a dream. Amplify also equally hurt. They do have a couple of eliminations to their name here, but it's looking pretty dicey.
Look on your mini-map. They have to rotate past so many teams, and they're sharing loot right now just to try and give everybody a chance. I almost would say maybe Miro drop everything that he's got just in case, any chance to boost up the other two, because at this point, 3 HP, not the best situation to be in. Here we go, Matsoe pushing forward. The other two not yet on his tail. Watching the mini-map, just a second there.
You have to appreciate here. He's the only one with shield on his team, so he says, you know what, I'm going to go first. I'll do the building. I'll do the leading here. Taking the path to the next zone. I mean, he gets him a little bit closer to the safety spot. I think the play here is either catch a pick, get this segment, or buy time, right? Get a little share time on it, and they can get that way to the zone.
That audio cue, you hear the shockwave, that actually is a very good signal for them. Being low HP, they don't want to make a move before somebody else. Hunter gets almost beamed into the ground, but they know that they're basically free to rotate the player in the team that was potentially going to be a problem. Big hit there, gets does in fact go down. You see the top left. Raxo takes him down. D-Mine. 23 trios remaining, 61 players total. The threshold on the middle right, they're 343 damage above. But Miro still sitting on only 3 HP. The mini's going to be a big pickup there. 53 total.
At least he gets him a little more health here, right? Puts him in the game, keeps him in the running just for a little longer. Now he has the option to pick up this blue pump, and he actually is going to opt into keeping the gold tap. That's actually a pleasant surprise. We thought that, the pros that take the slower pull-out time from the gold tap.
You get a 200 damage hit with the blue pump. Can mean the difference between making it into the circle and getting stopped by somebody, maybe get surprised inside your own box, somebody takes the wall. Situational awareness is big. The blue pump can be extremely effective. Your accuracy has to be on, but man, when the thing hits, it really hits.
They're still fighting for it. There's a minigun over to the left. That hit a lot there. Cannot accumulate any more points, but they did pick up a lot of eliminations, so you best believe they're still in the top 10 as far as we know right now. But it's so early. It's still so early.
There's a lot of opportunity here. We still have a number of games left. Camo, Army of Pepper at the top of this, looks like 4 or 6 block tower. Stinger to apply pressure while the minigun is going. Love the EU tactics. You don't see too much minigun other regions right now. This Tamawamo does go down. Well, imagine that many rounds from a trio, all shooting at your single build and you're by yourself. Basically GG at that point.
And this team here is also just heavy on the elims right now. An effective 7+ for the squad right here. And they have the prime position to catch the picks of anyone rotating from the backside. This is actually perfect too, right? The heavy congestion is below them. They don't have anyone up here in this layer with them. The closest person is this trio right here to their left. And it looks like it's time to get that focus fire on. Here comes the minigun.
The mark for attacking right there. Stink to apply and make a move. You use those HP tags that pop up, the 5, to see where your opponents are rotating. Now they're in literally the very bottom of the same builds. You have a ton of people stacked up next to each other at this point now. But Camo, Pepper, and Harmy look like they still have the ultimate high ground, the best spot on the map right now. That being said, they're on the far west of the current safe zone, and they need to rotate southeast. Hopefully, somebody's got a launch pad or shockwaves in the inventory to make this rotation. Otherwise, they're going to have to build across and tarp over everyone else underneath them. You do still see Benji, Fishy, Mongrel, and Mitro right there on your screen. They are still in this one, looking down from almost the same angle. Here we go, rotation with the launch pad, well above the damage threshold for Storm Surge. Excellent spot, and 12 rockets in the RPG. They're going to build on pre-built structure over there. Let somebody else put up, might even be their own builds.
And this is exactly what you want to study from this star trio right here. Zone 6, they go for the high ground. So they're actually going to take the high ground. He's going to catch 2 on the knock right there, which means that team is really hurting now. That's going to be Voron who gets taken out there. Voron was also in the top 5, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a power takedown right here. It's going to allow this trio to just get one step closer, kind of breaking over. To hold high ground from zone 6 so early. They're going to be forced to jump down soon if they can't, kind of map conserve properly. They're getting broken down consistently now on the shockwave. These are the cons that happen when you take that high ground, because you don't get the pleasures of looting the players who drop, right? Just like that. All that loot's gone. They actually can't use it.
And every time you hear a shockwave, you'll see these players snap and look up in the air and see if they can try and find it on the fly. In case you have 3 shots as that elimination is secured. Mitro picking up a knock on Falconly in the feed. Another one for the trio. 7 remaining. I've got to say, if this is not a win for this team, I don't know what is.
This is going to be a close one. Mongrel actually did not have any more AR left in his gun. There's no more RPG left here. It's a straight-up shotgun battle. This is a crucial elim. That's going to get them some of the resources that they need to hold this high ground here. And it looks like it's cutting back across, so lucky for them, they're going to be able to kind of reuse some of their resource here. We have a couple players left in the game here. Red Rush in the low ground. Shotgun and Cal as well. There's Mitro just raining fire. That tac sub SMG is so good for shredding through builds right here. And honestly, they can pierce through the turbos like right there. These are the shots. Good pressure right here from Mitro, putting down the fire, putting all the ammunition to use here. We're almost in the final zone now. This is it. Storm Zone 9. The close in will happen. Looks like Benji Fishy's going to go for that high ground. You saw him elevate himself right there. So he's going to get out of way. Down and dirty with the TAC SMG right now, Lupo.
You have to remember the last set of placements here. The points really pick up as you go from 5th to 4th and 3rd to 2nd, and then victory royale. So the time you're going to have to go down right there. The 4 trios remaining get even more points. As soon as one more trio goes down, we'll get it first and second. And we're down to the very last second here. The spray from above. This, honestly, as soon as we got to top 40, this was Mongrel, Mitro, Benji, Fishy, all the way to the end. No surprise here.
And a monstrous 12 elim game right now. You saw
first place, that they had the Victory Royale. They, in fact, did not. So my apologies. All we were given was placement on the screen. That's my bad. Back to you.
We got to keep him honest, and we love him very much for it. But don't forget, the top 8 are moving on from this heat. So right now, you must be this tall to rise. If we're looking at just top 8 the points, 18, that's just like, a Victory Royale is worth 15 points in and of itself. And if you get the Victory Royale with 3 eliminations, you can now look to strike up in the top 8. So, and only in the second game, we're about to head into game number 3. What does this spell for, like, all of these other teams?
Yeah, you just have to stay consistent. You have to not fear. If you have a couple of bad games, that's okay. If you're able to get in, get situated, get a couple of eliminations, get some placement points in there. As you can see right now, to be on the first page, it's 11 points up there. But one thing I do want to take a look at here is some of the gameplay that came out from Mongo, Mitro, and Benji. They were able to play so well, and Lupo even hinted at it, saying at around like top 40 or so, you could kind of smell that they were going to have that victory out, and had the sense of, hey, they were going to get high ground. They had everything. It's like, oh, this looks like it's going to be a win from them. Let's hop on in and see how they're able to execute and get this done. And one thing you'll note is when they are on high ground, they're so incredibly disciplined with their angles. They're constantly looking around, adjusting, putting about the retail drop spot and how your early game sets you up for an advantage. They have so many tools at their disposal, from ammunition to rockets to excess shields to having enough mats because they had rotations early on to hold the high ground. It just makes it so easy and so clinical. And I promise, if you are a trio or you're just interested in competitive Fortnite and getting better, go and load up these guys' server replays. Watch them play. Check them out on their socials. You might want to actually mute their streams every now and then because they can get a little loud on the comms. Paulus does a great job breaking that one down. And let's actually take a look at page 2 of the standings because, as we talked about, in the heat formats, the top 8 are going to advance. But just so you can get a hint, 5 elites right now is getting you up into that second page. There is 32 teams in each one of the heats. You need to be in the top 25% in order to advance. In Europe, every single one of these guys is impressive, but they're all capable of stringing together a couple of good runs. You have 6 games. A third of them are down. You're now into kind of like the meat of it. In the next 2 games, you don't want to fall out early. So expect to see some intense battles early on. Maybe kind of in the mid game because people don't want to get dropped out. You don't want it to be a 3rd game and then fall out and realize, oh, we're that much more off the pace. Now we really need to be pressing forward. I think you'll start seeing aggression in games 5 and 6, but 3 and 4, they're going to be playing a little bit more like hanging out, just being like, oh, there's people over there? No, I'm good.
So not like me, who does not even get to play. Got it. Yeah, we'll see how things go because top 8 if you want to move on to the finals. about that, but it's just going to be a lot about mental game, you know, like you're saying. If you start to just lose your confidence even just a little bit, that's going to affect your potential placement in top 8. We'll have to see, though. I'm getting a little too excited for Fortnite, fam. I want to see more of this. Yeah, look, I think we're getting ready. Battle Bus players are boarding. We'll be there in just a moment. I think we have a package here in just a moment. But what do you think, man? So, do you think, like, where is Aqua? Did we see him? Is he on page 1?
They're not in this heat. They're not in
Oh,
this
okay,
heat.
I'm sorry.
It's different heats.
Different heat. There is
heat 1. So,
which brings me to
again,
my
just
next
to remind
point.
people, is a little too excited here. There are 4 heats coming
up
through in Europe. 8 teams will be advancing and going on. And the way you're able to kind of score and work your way up is through eliminations and placing higher up. Though in Europe, particularly, they have the highest amount of participation. So all of these players they are at the very tippy top, right? This is the top 0.001%. Right. These are the best of the best and the people who are very able to, like, compete against these guys. Particular day. However, as we have our own predictions, more repeated showing their
during this stage. First things first, being contested. The first realization players make when landing is whether you're being contested or not, to prepare for the upcoming possible fight. Trios want to try to force your opponent into the more disadvantageous position cut off from your potential. Either they have to make a desperation push, or they're stuck with less loot where you can easily clean up. That's just the beginning, as even though it starts off high intensity with all the different POIs being contested, it quickly slows down as the rotations begin towards first zone. Looting doesn't end here, and most competitive players will have a loot map which optimizes the possibility for finding crucial mobility and weapon upgrades. Thanks to the new battle map feature in the replay mode, we can study these loot paths and rotations quite easily these days. So go check that out in any replay from the Fortnite Champion Series by going into the Compete tab and finding your favorite player. It will vary from game to game, but generally, we move into the mid-game around the middle to end of second zone. The mid-game is the calm before the storm. Before the storm circle gets too small where it forces the engagements. Most players' goals are positional, but in some cases, depending on how the early game went, you again have to strike a balance, this time between looting and farming, or going for the best position. Looting could include playing extremely aggressive to earn yourself other players' loot. For heroes, it's much harder to play that aggressive playstyle, since fights take longer and cost more. You want to be efficient with any rotations or fights you have to take. You don't want to spend your precious mobility, valuable resources, or health. This is why you'll see a lot of the top players look directly for center zone in the mid-game. When you're in the center zone, you end up giving yourself the most chance of being in the next storm circle when it gets revealed. You'll then have to go